In the spring of 1945, the war in Europe had a new, terrifying rhythm, a sound from the future. The German Me-262, the world's first operational jet fighter. It was faster, deadlier, and, to the pilots facing it, seemingly unstoppable. Out of the sun they came and were gone, leaving only shattered propellers and despair in their wake. The Allied air forces appeared powerless. The sky itself had rules, and the jet had rewritten them. But far from the gleaming Reich factories, in a makeshift hangar in Belgium, a different kind of mind was at work. Staff Sergeant George Preddy, Jr., an American engine mechanic, wasn't supposed to solve strategic problems. He was supposed to follow the manual. Yet, as reports of the invincible jet filtered down, he looked at the magnificent Merlin engine of the P-51 Mustang and asked a simple, dangerous question. "What if we're not using all of you?" Preddy had found it, a backward setting, a way to force the engine's supercharger to operate far beyond its designed limits. It would give the Mustang a devastating, fleeting burst of speed. Engineers called it reckless physics. Commanders saw court-martial material. It was a heresy against the book. They ordered it banned. But the idea, like a seed in cracked concrete, had been planted. The modification was brutally simple. It asked the engine to give its life in minutes, not hours, to drink fuel like fire, to risk a catastrophic explosion for one purpose, to close the gap, to turn the hunter into the hunted. In the hangars, they whispered about it. They called it Preddy's push. And one pilot, facing the jet streak over Berlin, decided the court-martial was a problem for tomorrow. And then it happened. Over the burning capital of the Reich, a Mustang, piloted by a man who chose defiance, kicked in Preddy's push. The aircraft surged forward, a temporary god of speed. For those critical seconds, the impossible became possible. The sights settled on the jet's swept wings, and the myth of its invincibility was shattered. Not by a new weapon from a lab, but by a stubborn mechanic's insight and a pilot's courage to use it. Word spread like lightning. Pilots, desperate for any edge, adopted the push. Engineers reluctantly drafted new temporary manuals. Commanders turned a blind eye to the broken rules, for the results were written in smoke across the German sky. By war's end, this overlooked innovation, born of curiosity and defiance, was credited with helping to save over 2,000 American airmen. It was a victory not of unlimited resource, but of limitless ingenuity. History remembers the aces, the generals, the visible titans of conflict. But sometimes the tide is turned by those who weren't even supposed to try, by a man who listened not to the roar of the jet, but to the whisper of a different possibility within the machine. This is the untold story of how the sky was won, not just by following orders, but by daring for a moment to push backwards.